Sex is the life force energy that runs through us all. Can you use sexual energy for your spiritual evolution? Or perhaps for emotional healing? Is it even possible? Clinical sexologist Dr. Martha Tara Lee will explore all these and more on Eros Evolution on OMTimes Radio.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Martha Tara Lee. I'm the host of Eros Evolution. Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Today I have with me a wonderful, beautiful guest. The show title for today is Owning Your Powerful Sexuality to Manifest Money. Deanna Bonwick, she is the creatrix of Woman, Sexuality, and Financial Abundance. She supports conscious women in business to create abundance in a uniquely feminine way. She does this by helping them to align their business to their personal energetic flow as a woman. So she says this: we desperately need enlightened women entrepreneurs to shine their light in the world today. However, to support the finely tuned body system of a woman, we need to do it our way. This has become the passion of my life, to offer a way for women to be highly productive and financially successful and feel alive, sensual, and juicy whilst enjoying their role as a feminine leader in their field of expertise. Wonderfully said. So, Deanna, welcome to the show.
Hi, Martha. It is such a pleasure. I feel deeply touched being connecting with you in this way.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm just so glad you're here.
It is such an honor, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share this with you.
And thank you for coming on to share what you have to offer to the world on this show. I remember meeting you at Art of Feminine Presence teacher training in Melbourne, Australia in November, and I was drawn to how beautiful you are.
Oh, thank you, Martha. It's such a pleasure meeting you too.
So Deanna's website is deannabonwick.com, and it's Bonwick, Bonwick, Deanna, Diana, deannabonwick.com. She is beautiful and she has a beautiful website. You can check it out as we continue with the show. So Deanna, maybe we can start by you telling us a little bit more about your background and how you came into doing this work that you do now.
Yeah, for me, it all started about 20 years ago. I was already deeply committed to a daily yoga practice and lots of meditation. At that time, I was pregnant with my second child, which I gave birth to in 1995. He died 2 days after birth, which had such a huge impact on me and on my emotional and physical health. There was also a lot of other things going on that were feeding in with this particular trauma of losing my child. And what happened to me was my body went into like a shock and trauma, and I began to menstruate and ovulate every 2 to 3 weeks for a really, really, really long time, which really depleted me quite deeply. At the time, there was two things going on. I was living on 10 acres of bush. And also, I was running a complementary health center with my husband, with several other complementary health practitioners. As I was working as a yoga therapist, I just had such a big yearning and calling to work with women after losing my child. It's a way for me to heal. I wanted to give something back to women who were expecting a baby, and I helped them to get ready to birth their babies naturally, really instilling a trust in their body, that their bodies can go through this birthing process and they don't need the intervention. I mean, sometimes you do, but a lot of the time I think we have the power in our body to actually do this. So that was the beginning of my journey of working with women. And over like 20 years, the work's gone through many different shifts. But what I realized, in order to heal my own body, I realized how powerful the sexual energy actually is. For me, that ended up with chronic fatigue for many years after losing my baby and other traumatic things that were going on at that time. I needed to find a way to actually bring my body back to vitality and health so I could operate and share my gifts in this world. And that was a real struggle for me a really long time, because I just didn't have the physical strength and the physical energy to do that. So I lived for many years very secluded. I pulled back from the world and the health center, and really I lived for like 10 years just submerged in bush, and did a lot of meditation, a lot of observing of nature. So we lived on that gorgeous property with lots and lots of trees, and we had wildlife there, and we also had animals. And I did spend so much time just dropping into the space of Mother Earth, really, of nature, and observing it, observing how when plants almost die and the rain or the sun comes, they sort of rejuvenate. So there was that was shown to me. But the other thing that I really noticed was how much nature cycles, and how it has different seasons, and how even though I knew that, but I kind of got just a much more profound understanding on it. How, say, a fruit tree, rests and sleeps in winter and then wakes up in spring, and it is so busy and has got so much energy to create all these leaves and the flowers, and then how that goes into summer, and it has got cherries all over it, and then it goes into late summer where we can harvest the fruit, and it goes into autumn where the tree actually lets go of the leaves, which go into the soil and becomes food in the soil. And then in winter, it can start building up its stores again. So that itself, is such a miracle that we most of the time completely miss. We don't even think about it. We just take it for granted. We're so disconnected from nature, from the beautiful things that happen all the time below our feet. There is this magic we're walking on, and we don't even see it anymore. So because my life was very slow at that point, and I needed to rest a lot and meditate a lot, and my life became very slow, and I began to see things that people in a fast-paced life just don't even see. So my learning from that was that, how similar a woman actually is to nature, and how we cycle, how a woman's life force goes through different stages in her menstrual cycle, every single cycle. So, we have this sexual energy and this life force within us, but it has got a slightly different expression depending where we are in the cycle. There is so much magic to that, Martha. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many questions that I have for you. And thank you so much for sharing this story. I remember being really moved when you first shared it, and how shocked I was that such a bad traumatic experience could have happened to you, when you are the embodiment of aliveness.
Yeah.
Having gone through that time and being in nature, was that what healed your cycle?
The really the deepest healing at that point for me was emotional, because I was struggling a huge amount with rejection and abandonment at that point. I so needed and yearned for this loving arms and support of a mother figure in my life that really didn't happen for me. And so by actually connecting to the earth, I realized that, the ultimate mother is living in the earth. And I got this comfort I found actually in her. In the end, I found comfort in her as, Mother Nature. And also the animals, I just found being around the animals, which have such purity. They don't have their heads in their way. They don't have so many emotions in their way. I just found being with them, it just had a profound emotional healing for me that occurred at that point. And of course, the emotions have got such a huge impact on our cycles too, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you speak with women, you know, like there's hardly a woman that has got a beautiful, healthy, regular cycle at the moment. It's a global issue that women live so disconnected from their body and their sexuality that their cycles are all over the place. And in fact, a lot of women take drugs to control their cycles, you know. So and some women don't want to bleed, you know, they have operations so they don't bleed anymore. There's so many things going on.
Hello? Deanna? So I think we've lost Deanna, and I will try to get her back. Okay, just give me a moment while I get her back. Hi. Hello, we had a
OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram @joyofbusiness or Twitter @joyofbusiness, and share your pictures with hashtags businessdonewhere and joyofbusiness. Let's change the world with business. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Arrow's Evolution. This is Martha, and this is where sexuality and spirituality meets. We had a little hiccup just now where we lost the connection. However, we're back, and we have Deanna with us again. She was just telling us before the break that she went through a very difficult time of losing her baby when after labor of 2 days, and it really disrupted her cycle, and Mother Nature was what really helped with her emotionally, and that contributed to her healing. So, Deanna, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm back.
Okay, great. So tell us more for the listeners out there who are not women, the men primarily, how this our sexual energy, how powerful it is, can really help us uh, in terms of our spirituality and also with manifesting money. I think that's what everyone is interested in.
Yes. So what happens for a lot of women today is, and I've seen that with pretty much everyone I've worked with, we hold a lot of guilt and shame in our bodies, really in our to do with our sexuality. And so it's like we have this huge break on. We try to, particularly, thinking there are people who are self-employed who have to create a huge amount of activity. We need this huge amount of life force to actually create a momentum. And if our life force, our sexual energy is blocked, we just simply don't have it, or we're pushing against that brake. So it's like trying to get a car going, but you've got the handbrake on and you've got the foot on the brake, and you're trying to, you step on the gas and you're trying to get this car moving forward, but it's such hard work. So that's what it's like when our sexual energy is shut down, as it is for a lot of us. It's kind of knotted up and it's stuck in a way. It can't actually create momentum. So we're trying to get it going with our head or with our heart, but we need that energy. When you imagine that sexual energy can create life. The woman's body is so incredibly powerful. It can actually create life. So if we have this energy free to really fuel our entire body, so, it really moves us ahead. And then there's this other thing that really struck me when I got that one day. And that is when we are created and you have, the bundle of cells that are really, we are created by sexual energy. So you've got the egg and the semens come together, creating this human being. And when the soul merges with that bundle of cells, it actually informs it with the soul knowing, with the soul purpose, with everything we need to know, what we're here for in this life, what our purpose is in this life. The information is in the life force, in the sexual energy. That's what our beginning was. That's how it all started when we first got here. And so a lot of people, I speak to so many women who go, I just don't know what my purpose is. I'm still looking. So I meet women in their 50s and they're still going, I really don't know what I really want. And I think it's so connected to this life force, the sexual energy not really being free. So as we're freeing up that life force, it means that we actually get in touch again with our purpose, with our dreams, with our desires, with what it is that we want to gift the world with. We all have a unique life force. We all have unique gifts, and we all have something to offer that no one else can offer. So what I'd like to say, trust that speaking to our beautiful listeners now, you have a gift to share. And if you don't share those gifts, no one else can, because you are so unique. You are so beautiful. You have this light about you and this unique expression of the divine that no one else on the entire planet has. And so really my work is helping women to really loosen up those knots, melt the shame and the sexuality that they're feeling in regards to their sexuality, so that that life force is totally free to express its unique gifts. And that woman can live her purpose, her divine purpose in this life. So that's how, for me, the connection comes in, Martha.
So how exactly can they reconnect with their sexuality and from there be able to gain momentum in their lives?
So really the first thing is to become present in your body. So, I mentioned before that we are so disconnected from our body. And a lot of women who are people in general who are on spiritual paths, they've kind of, they all their focus is on mind purity, so positive thinking and open heart, and they've done a lot of opening up to consciousness. But there's a piece missing, and that is we need to actually be really, really anchored in our body. And for a woman, we need to be really anchored in our pelvis. This is where the power is. When you think about this, is where we actually create life and grow a life within us. So there is so much power and so much locked up energy in our pelvis. So as we actually become present in our body, we're activating this life force. And then and then there's another thing to it as well, and that is that right now, for women to be able to access that, really we need this experience of total unconditional love. Total unconditional love. So what I'm seeing is that, women have been raised by women that have struggled to fully unconditionally love and nurture in a feminine way, in an open and receptive way. And it goes back the family line. So because we've lived in such a masculine world for so long that, generations have been cut off from their feminine power and their amazing femininity. So we've been raised by mothers that have held a lot of shame and guilt in their bodies, and they've kind of held back, and they've been raised by mothers that have been holding a lot of shame and guilt in their bodies, and so on, and the line goes back a long way. So really it's like we need to have this experience of unconditional mother love that melts that shame and that guilt, so that we truly can fall in love with ourselves, and with our bodies, with this incredible, beautiful gift of our feminine bodies, Martha.
So you believe that if they didn't have a loving mother, they can go back to Mother Earth to nurture them? Is that what you're saying?
That's my experience. That is my experience, that we have focused so much on the divine masculine, and the earth is the divine feminine. So there is this endless, unlimitless source of unconditional love below our feet, the whole earth. Like, it doesn't matter what we do to her, she still grows the food for us. She provides on our tables every single day. Like, this is so amazing, like the power that she has. And when we begin to open our bodies again, and as women, we have this receptive nature, which again we've shut down. So it's like we've got to open up and learn and relearn being receptive, but being receptive in our body. And when we open up our body energetically, we can actually receive that unconditional love and that power that is in the earth. We actually can take it into our bodies again.
So I have a question. For those people who are very much in their heads, who feel a lot of guilt and shame around the abuse that we are causing to Mother Earth, environmental damage and the ozone layer depletion and deforestation, what do you say to these people who feel guilty around going back to Mother Earth and reconnecting with her?
Who feel the pain of how much damage has happened to her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I want to say is that, oh gosh, she is our mother, and what she really needs is our love. She needs our love. And when I connect with her, and it is this beautiful heart connection, when I connect with her, like it's like she opens up to receive my love, our love, and she needs our love. So, as we walking upon her and our feet touch the earth, it's like when we do that with consciousness and we do that with gratitude.
When we do that with gratitude, Yeah, we seem to have lost Deanna again. And basically what she was, I don't know whether you can hear me. Basically what she's saying is that there is a lot of power with women who are present and who are connected with their pelvis, and also who are able to surrender completely to this unconditional love that is accessible to all of us. This includes Mother Earth, and there's a lot of love and support that Mother Earth gives us. And if we're just focusing on this guilt and shame, it really doesn't serve us at all. Deanna, are you back with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just doing a quick summary of what you were just saying there. So Mother Earth wants to love us, but if we feel this guilt around the abuse that has happened, how do we let go of that? Hello? Yeah, she's not having a good connection today.
Hello,
Yes.
I missed your question.
So how do we let go of that guilt around the abuse of Mother Earth?
Well, for me, I always find that unconditional love melts all scars, all scars. And for me, it is an outpouring of love. So, you know, some of us are.
We will continue after this break. Thank you so much, Deanna, about
Welcome.
this outpouring of love. Love covers all things. We'll be back.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
The Laying On of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Arrow's Evolution. This is Martha, and this is where sexuality and spirituality meets. I have with me Deanna Bonwick, and her website is Deanna Bonwick, BONWICK.com. She's the creatrix of Woman, Sexuality and Financial Abundance, and she shared with us the importance of sexual energy and how it helps us to have momentum and to be able to get all the things that we want in our lives, including having a purpose. So just before the break, I was asking Deanna about what happens when we feel guilt and shame around connecting with Mother Earth. And Deanna, you were about to continue with.
Yes. So when we feel, really a lot of shame and guilt about what's happening to our beautiful Mother Earth, we all have a different way we can contribute to her. We have to find our own way. For some people, that means that they create beautiful gardens. For other people, it means that they're actually much more active in organizations to help with that. There's many, many different ways. We have to.
So it seems like we just lost Deanna again. And yeah, the connection today seems to be an issue. However, we'll try to get her back. So Deanna, I met her at this training called Art of Feminine Presence in November last year, and I was just blown away by how beautiful she is. She did this moon meditation. There was full moon, and she helped us to really connect with moon energy. And this was the first time that I went through such a meditation. I was conscious and worried about whether I could feel it, but I did. So Deanna, you're back?
Yes. So, we just need to be mindful, when we're eating food, that there's a sense of gratitude for it. Whatever you do, be mindful what she provides for us and where you put your feet and what effect you have. But it's more in a devotional sort of way, because you can feel so guilty about everything you eat and eating the wrong thing. And then really what we're instilling is fear. We're living from fear and not from love.
Wonderful. So we need to find our own way and connect with Mother Earth in our own ways, including contributing to her and being very conscious about the way we relate with her. So we're talking a lot about women. I'm just curious how any of this applies to men and what men can do to also connect with their sexuality and manifest money.
Yes. So for men also hold a lot of guilt and shame in their bodies at the moment, because a lot of what's happened over a long period of time for women, why we hold so much shame and guilt, is through a lot of abuse that we have experienced through the male. And so we have a lot of beautiful conscious men today that are really suffering, also with holding guilt and shame about what males have done to women. And sometimes they're aware of that and sometimes they're not. But the way it can express itself is that men are holding back in their masculine power. And the masculine power, if it's used in a beautiful, loving way, is beautiful, and it can give so much power and love and life to women, to life, to their creations in their business or artwork or music, wherever they want to put their creativity. So in some ways, men have a similar challenge to women, that they in a way need to forgive themselves and their forefathers, what they may have done, to affect women in this way. So again, I feel it is unconditional love that again can melt that. And for men to find a way to really step into their masculine authority, which is so powerful. When a man is in a masculine authority and he has got this open heart, what he can offer to the world and to any woman is amazing, absolutely amazing.
Do you also work with men?
Not at the moment. I have a deep love for men as well as women, but right now, I work with women, but kind of through that I touch through the men, because we do talk about these issues when we're working with women.
And of course, when the woman works on herself and transforms, then she's helping her man. The dynamics in their relationship starts to shift. It's like an energetic dance when they're in relationship with each other.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I think a lot of relationships are in the middle of this shift at the moment. So if you are in a challenging relationship right now, sometimes we just have to hang in there for a little bit longer, because there's so much shifting going on, and you don't really know sometimes how it pans out till everyone's done their shifts, you know. Yeah, so I see that with the women I'm working, and of course it's got a rippling effect with their relationships, and often the entry point's actually the man. You know, sometimes men are, you know, they're the conscious part in the relationship, and maybe their female partner isn't. That happens too. Yeah.
So as men and women continue working on themselves and they start experiencing the shifts, I suppose what you're saying is that they will be able to be clearer in their purpose, be more present in their lives, and be able to manifest money.
Yes, I think we all need to reconnect with our sexuality in terms of, this is a force, it's a power, you know, like the sexual energy is like the life force. And when you look at what life force creates, you know, you look at Mother Earth, you know, like she's prolific. She's just so much energy there. And we have that, man or woman, we actually have that in our body. And we can create anything. So as I said before earlier on, we have you know, we all have a unique life force, and we have unique gifts and unique dreams. And each one of us has got something to offer to this world and to this earth that no one else has. And when we actually love our bodies and our sexual energy and that power within us, and we allow that to be the guiding force in our life, miracles happen. You know, just miracles. It's like surfing. You know, you're on this wave, and it just moves you forward. It accelerates everything that you're doing. It's this powerful, energetic momentum. And so things just happen. You know, one thing occurs to another, and things come along because of that energetic momentum that you're creating. Or not so much creating, it's just there. All you do is you're allowing it. That's more so. It's more like an allowing of that to happen.
I guess
Yeah.
that there is a confusion sometimes with people who are very much into surrendering and allowing things to happen, and yet they don't actually do anything to make things
Yes.
happen. So
Yes.
what do you speak about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So I'm finding there is the conscious tribe where it is, oh yeah, just go with the flow, and I'm just going to, you know, tune in with my angels, and you know, and really it's their spirituality or their path is in a sense a little bit passive. It's like tuning into spirit or to God or whatever how they're relating to it. And things will just sort of come along, and for me that's generally a sign that they're actually very disconnected from their body and disconnected from their sexuality. Because when we are spirit, but we're also a human being, and so on this plane here we need to operate completely from all of it. You know, like we need to honor our soul's knowing, but our body is the vehicle that drives us everywhere. And so if that is turned off, it's forever a dream. You know, we ever have this wonderful idea about something we'd like to do, but if we don't actually create this momentum, very physical momentum, energetic action, you know, momentum, and we begin to act, nothing's ever going to happen, and your dreams are simply not going to be shared.
Wonderful perspective. So yeah, a lot of people are focusing on being more spiritual and more evolved, and then they don't really understand this balance between all of connecting with all of us. What are some ways you think listeners can immediately start applying what you have to share?
Well, I think the best way to start is to be becoming really present in your body. So one thing which, you know, was for me a starting point about 27 years ago, I picked up this beautiful little book at the airport in Germany, and it had I was totally new to meditation at that point, and it had this gorgeous walking meditation in this book. And what the woman was saying is, when you're walking, really feel your feet connecting with the earth. And as you're walking, say to yourself, the earth supports me. The earth supports me. And I did this for a week because I was working, in a city, quite disconnected from nature. And I really felt like I needed to do this because I have got a history of anxiety, because so much of my energy used to be up in my head, and all my spirituality was really, consciousness based. So again, it was up in my head. And so for me to focus on my feet was a really, really good entry point because it's the furthest away from the head. So focusing on my feet and and how I connect with each step and making that a conscious, like a meditation. And you can do that even when you're walking in the city or you're doing the dishes at home, and just with consciousness connect. How am I connecting? Am I conscious? Am I present in my feet? Am I actually in my body? So that was for me a wonderful, wonderful start to becoming more present in my body.
Fantastic. This is something I'm going to remember to tell my clients in future. A lot of people out there are just so busy in their heads and tired, depleted, overwhelmed, stressed. And this is not uncommon in modern days.
Yeah, you're so right. It's a disease today.
We're going to go into break very soon. So this has been Deanna Bonwick. And just to tell you a little bit more about her, she actually is the creator of Woman Sexuality and Financial Abundance. Her website is deannabonwick.com. She is amazing and beautiful. She actually really talks a lot about how we can utilize our powerful life force energy, spiritual energy to create financial abundance in our lives. It's so important that as we get so busy, we don't forget what it is that gives us joy and makes us feel alive. So after the break, we will have more of Deanna Bonwick.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millis's, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Simone Milicis would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com. Free your mind with OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution. This is Martha, and this is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Every week we talk about the link between these two and the importance, as well as provide practical tips on how you can begin applying all this into your life. I have with me today Deanna Bonwick. She's based in Australia and she's the creator of Women's Sexuality and Financial Abundance. When you go onto her website, you can receive her free gift of a program called A Woman's 7 Essential Keys to Financial Abundance. And of course, these tips will also apply to men in some ways. So go to her website, Deanna Bonwick, BONWICK.com, and sign up to get this free program. So Deanna, I just have more questions for you. I was just wondering, what else can sexual energy help you with? We talked about helping you to find purpose and attract money, but maybe more specifically, if you have any other things that you can share with us about the importance and of sexual energy.
Yes. Now, this one is very much for the ladies. You know how I've talked earlier on about how our sexual energy has a different quality throughout our cycles. So, for example, you know, when a woman is menstruating, her energy is very internal, and it's a great time to rest. And so, what I'd briefly like to go into how we can actually utilize that in running a business. So for a woman, you know, if she aligns her business, if she is a woman entrepreneur and can align her business to her personal flow, her business will actually benefit. So for example, when she's menstruating, she's actually in a very internal space. And most women force themselves, you know, and when we have jobs, we are kind of under a lot of pressure to still go to work and operate and pretend as if it's any other, you know, like any other day. But if we have the choice and we can create a life and a business around our cycles, then that would be an amazing time to actually pull in and slow down and see less clients on that day. Make sure we rest, we get some pampering, you know, maybe we go and have a massage at that time. But from a point of view in regards of how we can use this for business, a woman is incredibly instinctive and intuitive at that time. And during this period, we often get such a deep understanding of our desires, our dreams that, you know, we haven't shared yet, what we really want to offer the world with. It's like we're sort of in touch with a subconscious part of ourselves that we often are not in touch with. So when we allow ourselves to drop into that, that dream and desire of what it is we want to bring to the world over the next month or over the next year, those dreams are really, really firing up and coming to the surface. And then, you know, the week after the menstruation it's like a spring, you know, it's like a woman has got so much energy at that time and she can be a little bit pushy. So for men out there who are listening, you know, if you watch your woman coming out of menstruation, when you watch her come out of that, she's quite different, you know, she suddenly has got so much energy and she can be quite direct and a bit sharper and just a little bit more pushy. So it would be a fantastic energy to use in business in terms of visioning, in terms of, you know, laying out structure for the following month, instead, you know, organizing things, implementing a lot of things, like a lot of action. This is not a dreaming phase and going with the flow. This is like action. And when you've become really clear on what your dreams are that you want to manifest in this month, then you actually know exactly how to use that action time. So then when you're moving over into ovulation time, as you can imagine, this is a time when a woman is driven to connect. Hormonally, we want to connect around our ovulation time. Sexually, we're made this way. So in business terms, again, you can utilize this as a brilliant time to run workshops, you know, public speaking, see more clients because you still got a lot of energy, run business meetings, you know, particularly if there's conflicts going on because the heart's just much more open. So yes, utilizing hormonally that time of this very outgoing time where we're driven to connect, it's perfect. And then, you know, when you're looking at the week before coming into menstruation, you know, the hormones are kind of shifting. And so there's a sort of a short time when a woman almost, she's feeling a little bit of a sadness, this sense of something's ended. And sometimes she doesn't even know why she's suddenly feeling sad, but there's a change in her hormones happening in her body. And so it's the time when, in a way, like if you compare it to nature, it's like the autumn tree, it's letting go of its leaves and it's getting ready for winter again, which is again her internal menstruation time. So that's a really good time for reflecting and perfecting. Sometimes a project it's a great time to bring a project to an end or to refine it in that period, you know, to just fine tune it. Before then going, you know, and the body slows down again, because hormonally there's just less active energy in our body. So we're slowing down at that period of time. We're sort of drawn back internal again. So for a woman, this is so important to know, to understand that she has got these different expressions of her life force and sexual energy throughout the month. And for a man who lives with a woman, it is such a gift for him to understand this too, because he understands why one moment she is sort of curling up on the sofa and 2 days later she's bossing everyone around. And then, you know, again, a little bit later, she's there and she really wants to connect with him and she wants to make love and, you know, and go out and do all these things. And she's just so different. And it can be so puzzling if you don't understand that actually this is what happens naturally to us. We can't change, we made that way. So if we understand ourselves as women, that's the first thing I think. If we need to understand ourselves first, then we can utilize that energy in whichever way it expresses itself in the most positive way possible. You know, we use it to our advantage rather than it driving us and expressing itself in a shadow form. But then to actually share that with our partners is so incredibly helpful. Yeah.
Fantastic. So being mindful and working with the cycles that we have internally is definitely less strife and going to be much more productive in our lives, whether in relationships or also with our work. So can you tell us more, just as we are about to wrap up, more about how people can actually work with you in terms of the services that you provide?
Yeah. The first step is to really sign up for the 7 keys to financial abundance on my website. And with that comes a 4-part video series that it's, and anyway, there's a lot that explains a lot more about what I've just spoken about. So to find out a little bit more about all of this and more, actually, there's a lot that we couldn't cover today. That would be the first step.
Okay, fantastic. And I understand you have private days and 3-day workshops, but for people who are overseas and not in Australia, how can they work with you?
Well, the private day might be an option. So that's a possibility to, you know, work with Skype, have longer sessions and maybe break the private day up. And I mean, sometimes people actually do travel overseas. You know, sometimes it is just if there's a calling in your body and your life force says, this is what I've got to do. I'm just going to have to connect with that woman and do this thing. And if you know that, you know, I've done this, I've gone overseas for something that, you know, my body was going, you need this, go and do it. And I jumped on the plane and did it. So sometimes it happens too.
That's amazing. I understand that you just went through a revamp recently on your website. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. So I think it's only just gone live overnight. I turned it on this morning and it's live. And the videos are being implemented as we speak. So there will be a slight delay if people are signing up now, because the technicians are trying to keep up with the pace.
Yeah, that happens. It's well worth the wait though. I've already signed up on your website and I'm looking forward to receiving your videos. A Woman's 7 Essential Keys to Financial Abundance. You can find Deanna on Deanna Bonwick. That's DIAN Bonwick, BONWICK. So can you tell us, just as we are about to end, any other latest projects that you have besides your website?
Um, latest projects. I usually got about 6 projects going at once. Well, you see, my love is, I have this outpouring creativity. So I'm doing so many different things in my life, and it really feeds me. I've got 2 daughters at home that are homeschooled, and I'm living on a small farm, and I'm creating these workshops and public talks. So yes, there's lots of public talks coming up for me as well here in Australia. And again, I'm available. So if somebody listens to me and would love to invite me for a talk, I would be honored.
Fantastic. So I understand that you have an offer for the first 5 ladies who connect with you at
For the first 5 ladies that would like to have a discovery session with me, I'm offering a free discovery session. So the best way to go about that is to email me, Deanna, which is Diana at Deanna Bonwick, DianaBonwick.com. That's my email, and please email me. The first 5 ladies can have a free discovery session with me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on this show today.
Thank you so much, Martha. I feel honored, and thanks so much for spending the time with me.
Thank you. And next week we have Monique Darling, and she's going to be talking about juicy enlightenment. This is all about falling in love with yourself so that you can live life liberated and on your own terms. This has been Martha of Eros Evolution on OMTimes Radio.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle